On 10:30, Kern's Desert Cities in Crisis. We look at the struggles people there face daily, from education to healthcare. Desert cities have been faced with challenges like these in recent years, with problems ranging from financial issues, struggling schools, rumored corruption, and more.
In this Eyewitness News investigation, Celine Stevens went out to our desert communities to talk with officials and residents to learn more about what's been going on these last few years and if anything can be done to help them.
While problems like healthcare accessibility, education, and cities in financial distress are not exclusive to rural communities, the effects can be much more severe in places like California City or Ridgecrest. Unfortunately, for those places specifically, they've been facing crisis after crisis, leaving some residents in a tough situation. With these cities floundering, some people might wonder what's going on and can anything be done to save them.
California City has a unique spot in pretty much the middle of nowhere.
California City is just one of several Kern County towns found in California's largest desert, the Mojave, and it's struggling.
There are a lot of struggles in California City. We have the budget shortfalls right now, so when the grand jury is requesting us or recommending us to have a finance director and to fill the deputy city manager position, obviously we have to have more cutbacks.
That grand jury report came out in March. It says the city went through 7 city managers in 2 years, and as of May, that number is now even higher. It also has debt problems. The city's annual budget was approved several months late for the last 3 years. At that time, Mayor Pro Tem Ron Smith said they lacked the staff to address many of the issues, ones that residents have seen for years. Are you content with how California City has handled some things in the area or not?
Absolutely not. Every time we think there's a budget, something comes up.
I want to leave, but it's hard to leave because the rent down there is more than the rent up here, so that's my problem.
Mayor Kelly Kulikoff says the city is in line to make $2 million in cuts by June to improve their financial situation. He's also betting on one other thing to get them out of the hole they're stuck in.
Ballot Measure B, coming on the ballot in July, on July 30th, to attempt to collect about $3 million in revenue the first year for police and fire.
If passed, it would partially pick up where Measure C, where the public safety only special tax, leaves off, which expires June 30th. The projected revenue shortfall once Measure C expires is a little over $6 million. Measure B would be a big help for the struggling city, but if it fails,
if we do not get the Measure B, the cutbacks might be so substantial that we might be close to a standstill. At least $5 million we'd need in cutbacks, possibly $6 million because of Core Civic closing and us losing about $1 million from them.
We're told the city government isn't the only institution in crisis. Parents say the Mojave Unified School District isn't doing enough for their kids. With only 6 schools for elementary, middle, and high school spread out throughout the district, options for parents are slim.
We have a lot of these issues that are coming up and not being resolved.
We need better teachers, we need better educational materials, better opportunities for these children. Some of the things that they're learning here, in comparison to other places, are not up to par.
I spoke with those parents at California City Middle School last month, and they expressed their issues with the Mojave Unified School District. High suspension rates, low test scores, and the superintendent were all problems parents noted, with the statistics to back it up. But the superintendent tells me she is taking steps to improve the district, and according to the Department of Justice, progress is being made slowly but surely.
Superintendent Dr. Catherine Aguirre wouldn't agree to a recorded interview, but tells me when it comes to behavior, they've been undergoing PBIS, or Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports, for around the last 2.5 years. She's also increased the number of psychologists from 4 to 10. However, these improvements followed a stipulated judgment placed on the district for 4 years by the California Department of Justice. The DOJ intervened after findings showed MUSD failed to investigate allegations that a principal threatened immigration-related consequences and retaliated against a student and his family. But that monitoring is now over, and the Attorney General said the district has achieved substantial compliance with the judgment. Another desert institution that has been investigated by the grand jury is Ridgecrest Regional Hospital.
While California City doesn't even have a hospital, Ridgecrest does. But due to financial and staffing issues, Ridgecrest Regional Hospital faced several layoffs this year, and their labor and delivery services, which served around 150 patients, were suspended in March.
I'm concerned for the women in town. Like, we need somewhere to go to the hospital. I also have elderly parents, and we don't have a lot of services here.
In April, a grand jury report suggested that annexation may be the answer. Last November, RRH announced a suspension of the OB unit due to staffing issues. In 2022, its cancer center also shut down, followed by more layoffs this past February. Hospital closures are not uncommon, but in rural communities, it can be devastating. Michele Monserratt-Ramos is a patient advocate. She says this closure can add stress onto expecting mothers.
It's incredibly dangerous. You know, not only is Ridgecrest Regional, along with many other hospitals, disbanding their labor and delivery units, but that means that those OBs are no longer going to be at that facility.
The idea of annexation is getting traction as the district has already voted to pursue this. However, a spokesperson for the hospital told me they are still researching what a formal partnership might look like, and nothing is official. When it comes to agreements like this, it falls into the hands of LAFCO, or the Local Agency Formation Commission. They would also handle a county takeover of a city, which Kulikov says could be a possibility for California City.
I could see that in the next 2 to 3 years. You have to completely be drowning and dead in the water and say, I can't get up, and they'll come in and they'll take over.
But that's an extensive process involving several bureaucratic steps. Some might wonder, what effect would it have on the rest of the county? Cal State Bakersfield economics professor Aaron Hegde says residents don't have to worry too much.
There's no direct impact for Bakersfield, but if people are unemployed over there or they have no source of income, they may have to move out of there. Bakersfield might be a city, or even Lancaster, or even people might even move to LA.
While a lack of funds, organization, and resources seem to have led to the consistent struggle in places like Cal City, some residents and officials say corruption played a role too.
It's always going to be council that wants to push with special interest, that wants to drag us further into a hole because they want to bring in their team of friends. They feel like it's California City is a pie that they need to cut the pieces between their friends.
Still, Mayor Kulikov tries to remain positive.
Right now we're in a good position, so we move it day to day. In the next several months, at least the next 3 months, we're not in some sort of dire straits.
In California City, Celine Stevens, Eyewitness News.